Yes, we've returned to Erie, PA. This is the outside of the Erie Civic Center multi-purpose arena near downtown. Inside with the lanes installed, we're ready for the action, and so is this crowd. Listen. Our live telecast of this April Fool's Day Splitfire Spark Plug Open is about to begin. So let's meet our finalists, ladies and gentlemen. In our first game, looking for his second PBA title from Oklahoma City, Mike Edwards. He'll face the player appearing in his 5th consecutive finals in Erie from Stockton, California, PBA President Walter Ray Williams Jr. The 3rd-seeded player is making his 2nd consecutive appearance in the finals from Baltimore, Danny Wiseman. Next up is the 6-time winner and the 2-time TFC winner from Beaumont, Texas, Mark Williams. And our tournament leader owns 2 PBA titles from Bolingbrook, Illinois, Steve Jaros. That's our field of finalists for this afternoon's Splitfire Spark Plug telecast from the Civic Center before about 5,000 local fans. $180,000 is the total purse, and Nelson Burton Jr. gets split up pretty nicely.
You sure is, Chris. The 2nd Splitfire Open. We have a tremendous field. All 5 players are champions. Splitfire has $39,000 on top, and we're ready to go with 2 great players in the first match, Edwards and Walter Ray Williams.
Yes, and these specially installed lanes by AMF are gleaming as we get the sincere handshake from the PBA president and one of his members, Mike Edwards, from Oklahoma City, originally from Tulsa. Of course, Walter Ray is a Californian, PBA Player of the Year and 6-time World Horseshoe Pitching Champion. But can he bowl? What a pocket hit, Bo.
Well, Chris, he's using a shot I haven't seen a player use in a long time. It's almost absolutely perfect, even the full roller type, similar to Billy Hardwick years ago. Now Mike Edwards, much more power, his first shot.
33-year-old with 1 victory, came in Toronto last year. Nice little hop at the line and a little mixing action, and we're all even after 1 frame for each.
Well, Edwards with just a real strong style, a strong body, 5-step delivery, just eats up the rack on this shot. Look at everything in perfect position, the good solid cuffed wrist, and watch how he drives straight through at the foul line. Very little vertical movement with his head, a good follow through. You can't start a match any better than that. Both players perfect.
Mike Edwards playing to the crowd. Good boy. Listen to them respond.
Well, Chris, this is a new entity in bowling at this level. You have to get the crowd into the game on your side, and he has a tough opponent in Walter Ray, who is a former Bowler of the Year.
And we have our first 10 pin of the afternoon on the right side of the championship pair.
We've seen the style of Walter Ray many times, but look at his hand position. It's on the side of the ball in kind of a suitcase position. He's taking the power out. Look at his thumb is down, and he's driving right through this area, but he's not going to get the big hook, and because of that, he leaves the soft 10, a spare for Walter Ray in the 2nd.
Number 4 in career earnings at $1,464,539. This is Walter Ray, Stockton, California. A couple of degrees from Cal Poly. Well, he's pure on the left lane.
Well, Chris, all the players are crossing or having a break point about 45 feet down the lane on what we'd call the 5 board. These are all synthetic lanes, so that's about 5 inches in from the right-hand channel. Regardless of how big a hook you throw, you have to get to that point to make it break smoothly into the pocket.
And Mike Edwards, the Oklahoman, is now 3 in a row. Mike's wife, Meg, is back home. She is studying pre-med medicine now. Keeps her plenty busy. But rooting, you can bet. Mike gets a 10 on the left lane.
The one concern of the players, Chris, has been the 10 pin. As you see this shot right here, Edwards a little quick with the ball. It hangs a pinch. 6 pin just bounces around the 10, and they're not quite getting the finish in the bowling center today that they expected. It could be because of the humidity, the temperatures are warming up. All those little bitty factors have an effect on the break point of a bowling ball. Only inches make a difference.
Staying clean. Spare in the 4th. And it's a 19-pin lead by Mike Edwards. We're at the Erie Civic Center, where just a short time earlier, bowling fans were treated to a roast. That's right. Carving duties were handled by Splitfire Sales Vice President Jerry Riccioni and PBA Commissioner Mike Connor. Constructed and installed lanes by MF here, and the crowd of 5,000 turning on now to professional bowling, and this man, Walter Ray Williams Jr. The Central High School Band is back again, as it was here last year, directed by Chuck Lute.
Walter Ray trails by 19 with a strike. He'd cut the lead of Edwards to 9.
5th of the showboat, 3rd in Baltimore. Walter Ray hasn't won since the Tournament Players Championship, October of 1994, and he bested our statistician, Butch Soper. Butch finished 15th this week, consistent moneymaker. Game is on. 1-pin lead now by Walter Ray Williams.
Walter was all smiles in the first couple of frames. You see that kind of tough look he gave Mike Edwards, but Mike Edwards is no guy to get riled on the lanes. Physically, one of the toughest we have. And responds with his best shot.
Next Saturday on ABC Sports, the Professional Bowlers Tour rolls into Detroit. Justin Romick, he aims to defend his title at the United States Open, live from Joe Louis Arena, another arena setting, next Saturday at 3 Eastern, 2 Central, right here on the leader, ABC Sports.
And this man's the defending champion in Canada, Toronto, Canada, the IOF Foresters Open, 2 weeks from now. Big time ball there, Chris. He sent it wide and broke it in there.
Takes a 9-pin lead. Seesaw back and forth. Using the full approach. Walter Ray.
17 feet from the back of the approach to the foul line.
What was that, Nelson?
Well, that was a little disappointment, Chris. That's part of a game you always have, is a solid 8 when you almost throw it too well. Walter Ray with a very disciplined outside shot, starting the ball around the 5th board, maintaining a pretty straight line, a 12-board break in the pocket, and disappointed with the solid 8 hit as the 5 is chopped straight back off.
So for the president now, continuing to mark, sparing the 6th frame. This is the 5th consecutive year that he has made the finals of this tournament in our telecast. The only other player to do that was Earl Anthony, 5 straight years in the national PBA Nationals.
Back up. He's yelling back up, and he's throwing that straight shot to take advantage of the oil. The ball sets up perfect for him.
Isn't this fun? Don't go away. Team plays here, but never the enthusiasm that these bowling 5,000 have today. Listen to them. They're just sort of doing nothing on the lanes at the moment, but they're about to start again, as this is our 2nd of 4 arena finals. Next week, Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, and then Toronto, and then in Chicago for the Brunswick World Tournament of Champions, another arena setting. And now Mike Edwards takes a 20-pin lead as we go to Nelson Burton.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. With me, Danny Wiseman. Danny, third place, the last 4 outs on ABC television. You're in third again today. Are you going to change something, or what's going to happen?
No, I'm not. I'm just going to go right at them. You know, they start getting a little tighter down the back end, and they're getting pretty close to how they were during the week. And I bowled pretty good in the morning, and just going right at them. Basically, I'm using the same ball as last week, and I got a very good shot, so we'll see what happens. It's a lot of fun.
Is there a third place jinx?
No, I'm going to break it today.
All right, he's ready, Chris. Back to you.
I guess. That's a 4-bagger with the last strike coming in the 8th frame. Mike Edwards moves out now to a 30-pin lead. Walter Ray has a strike up in the 7th. This is our first match. Danny will meet the winner, of course. Got a break on the 8th. Oh, it's back to a 20-pin lead by Walter Ray's opponent, Mike Edwards. Deadeye, the horseshoe champion. And Bo does know bowling.
Right now, Walter Ray Williams Jr., possible 259. Mike Edwards, possible 279. You better keep striking.
6-10. Silence, disappointment.
Well, Walter Ray going with that straight shot, just gets the ball a little left to target here. It hooks early and doesn't set up like it did for him in the 7th frame. Breaks up the 6-7-10 split, has the 6-10. Mike Edwards with a chance here in the 9th frame to put Walter Ray Williams Jr. on the ropes. And Chris, as you've always say, get all you can get, especially in a high-scoring environment like this.
Learned that early. So have you, Bo. So is Mike now. After winning in Toronto about a year ago, it really helped him because he was on our telecast a lot. In fact, this is his 19th.
Well, Chris, you're right. In Toronto, he got his confidence back. This is a huge shot as he trips the 4-pin with the 2. He's in the driver's seat right now with another good mark here. He shuts out Walter Ray Williams Jr.
And I know that his mom and dad, Jim and Jean, probably on the shores of the lake, are cheering. An interesting family. Cherokee, Creek, and Choctaw. The other half Irish.
Well, Mike said he was going to have fun out there today, and he's having fun. Obviously, the winner of the first game, a possible 279. And his good friend Walter Ray Williams Jr. will have to settle for 50. 268 with a spare, Chris.
He could be nonchalant after he's got it locked up, right?
Well, we expect high scores in arena setting. We've always had them. For all the arena settings we've had in the last year, the arena average is 243, and that's what you're going to need today to win, I'm sure.
Big 268. Beautiful performance. 5 straight years here with a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th.
Boy, that's pretty.
He's a hard-working president of the Professional Bowlers Association.
Possible 237 and a losing cause, and one of the great records he has here, Chris, out on the tour is a consecutive record of 200 games, 61 in a row, shot over 2 weeks in 1993. He had a lot of his horseshoe pitching fans down at the bowling center, Eastway Lanes, last night. And Walter Ray wanted me mentioned to his horseshoe pitching friends that in Wentzville, Missouri, just a little bit west of me, on April 23rd, he'll be in a good money tournament. Good money tournament, Wentzville, Missouri.
It's fun to watch.
He's a fun guy, too.
All right. The champion that he is, he struck out. 237. Yet Mike Edwards has shot a .268 to earn the right to go against Danny Wiseman in the second match. This ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. 9 big strikes with a .268 for Mike Edwards. Walter Ray Williams with a .237. So I think the standard is set, Nelson, maybe for 3 more big games.
Oh, I agree, Chris. The lane's look in great shape. I don't think they're going to change much. The temperature's ideal in the bowling center. Mike Edwards is loose. And Wiseman coming on in this next match also throws that kind of strike ball. When he's hot, he can shoot 250 or 60. I say if you shoot under 235, you're going to find a bench, and that'll be the end of the day. So look for big scores. Another good match coming up.
You like this setting?
It's great.
Okay. Handshake now. Danny Wiseman has moved in from Baltimore. He was third last week. And now he goes against quite a bit larger, which in bowling doesn't necessarily help or hinder, Mike Edwards. In match play, Mike won 18 and lost 6. Look at the close-up now. You get how he sets the ball. Is that any kind of way to start your second game? A 6-7. There it is. Can he do it? All-out try by Mike Edwards for the 6-7 split. First split of the afternoon. This is opening frames of our second game. Here's a 27-year-old from Chesapeake Bay. Beautiful style.
Yeah, Chris, I like this strike ball. It's one of the best. It's online with a lot of revolutions on the bowling ball, and that's what it takes. Makes that ball set up in the pocket. If you don't have the revolutions, the ball wanders as it goes down the lane. Wiseman, when he's on, as he was last week in Hartford at the Tums, and again this week, has it all going. Great strike bowler.
All right. This young man with the ability to change plans, because after some heartbreaks, he had to rise up, and now he's reached the top level again. 4 PBA championships. Mike Edwards has 1.
You see how Mike Edwards got there. 42 games, 18 qualifiers, 24 match games.
Needed that one. Both bowlers, Nelson, do a little preparation between shots.
Well, they do the same thing every time. Mike Edwards is very sure that his footwork is solid. He's a big, strong guy, 6'1", well over 200 pounds. He's a strong weightlifter. Bench presses over 300. It's important to have a solid foundation underneath you. That's the one disadvantage of being a big, strong guy. Sometimes the approaches will let you down. He's making careful preparation.
So after an open frame in the first, he has come back to double to stay within 11 of Danny Wiseman, although Danny has a double working, shooting in the third. Makes it look so easy. Danny Wiseman now with the 21 pin.
Wiseman with just a real good style, Chris. And one of the best things he does is gets in a crouch position and keeps the vertical head movement to a minimum. Now he opens that hand at the top of the swing with a long slide. You see that real long slide all the way through the shot that allows him more release time. And when he's on, he is tough. I do like that wrist action. A slide open, slide close. That's also the bowling tip this week.
Now there's 4 in a row for the pro from Baltimore. We're in our second match, and we'll bring you more of it after this. Here, entertaining the nearly 5,000 that have come in to see this live telecast in the second game, Mike Edwards and Danny Wiseman. Edwards won the first 2 68 to Walter Ray's 237. So that three-bagger puts him 21 behind. Bo?
Thank you, Chris. Actually, not the loser in the first game. I just say you were defeated Walter Ray. This has got to be a lot of fun, and you went with the straight shot, awfully straight.
Yeah, well, there was a little bit of dry area right out near the channel, and I opted to go pretty straight. And I threw one bad shot there at the end of the game, but it really didn't matter. I was pretty much already beat. Mike bowled a great game.
You're one of the greatest bowlers I've ever seen, one of the most versatile. Good luck next week.
Thanks.
That four-bagger puts him within 11 of the man who is perfect through 4 frames, Danny Wiseman. Just so Mike Edwards, a little solitary hyping up. So we have a 2 and 5 on the right lane for Danny, and the crowd appreciates the fact that he had strung 4. There is the $100,000 bonus here should we have a perfect game. So 2 games after this, we can hope. Spare in the 5th for Danny. Tonight on ABC, you're invited to the family reunion on the ABC Family Movie. And if you think your family's strange, you ain't seen nothing yet. Then Jeff Fahey's back in an all-new episode of The Marshal, all tonight here on ABC. All right, Danny has found that pocket again as he did the first 4 frames. If you just joined us, this man, Mike Edwards, 9 strikes, 268. Walter Ray Williams, 237 in the first match. All right, let's go to Nelson Burton again.
Thank you, Chris. With me is one of the great strike bowlers, Mark Williams. Mark, the scoring environment tremendously high. Do you think score or do you think opponent in this situation?
Well, I'm just going to bowl the best I can. I've got a pretty good shot, especially on the left lane. I'm going to finish on the left lane and just try to post a big score and make them come after me.
Well, you're one of the most versatile players on tour. Good strike ball. Good luck in the semifinal.
Thanks, Bo.
Back to you, Chris.
Beaumont, Texas. Mark Williams. Oklahoma City, Mike Edwards. Leads by 1. Now by 11. Okay. Hey, look at that bowling news update. An old friend, Joe Norris, a great champion. Of this Lake Erie City. Friendly people, enthusiastic, and that shot I love. Great champion of 5 decades. PBA Hall of Famer Dick Weber. He's been on the AMF staff for 39 years.
He's won tournaments in 5 decades, spanning back from the 50s through the 90s. Now, Danny Wiseman up in the 7th frame, trails by 11, can cut the lead of Mike Edwards to 1. Chris, when he throws his good shot, it looks so pretty. It looks like he just walked down there right in front of the pocket and just put the ball and placed it by hand right in front of the pins.
This is our 34th consecutive season. Way back, we had arena bowling in Mobile, and then at the Felt Forum in Madison Square Garden. Isn't that a picture?
Chris, those are perfect strikes. If you look, obviously a strike's a strike, but all 10 pins disappear. You watch a lot of strikes, and it's wonderful to have power, but he just lays them down perfect. He could have had 4-pound logs down there, and he'd have knocked them over. Right now, Mike Edwards trails by 9, can retake the lead. Has not missed striking on the right-hand lane. He's 9 for 9.
Look at Edwards strikes.
Mike just making sure of his shoes, just wiping them off. You have to have nothing of residue that can be left on the approach on your shoes. It's against the rules, and he just makes sure they're smooth, gets a good solid footing. He's a big, strong man. He can't afford to have those feet slip as he gets the ball snapping on the downswing. Right now can take an 11-pin lead, 9th frame.
The young man that played junior high school football decided that bowling might be better.
That strike by Edwards forces Wiseman to continue to strike.
Danny Wiseman, 10th telecast, 230 average when he's on TV. He's won 14 and lost 5.
Whew. Chris, this will be the highest scoring match of the season. If either one of the players just does anything in the 10th, a possible 279 for Mike Edwards on top of that opening 268. Wiseman a possible 278. It is not over, and we have not had a tie match on ABC this year. This is close.
Well, he's put together now 5. He opened with 4. Mike Edwards in an open in the first and has been striking ever since.
The good wrist action, arm close to his body, snaps that ball in an upward movement just like a baseball pitcher would throw a curveball in a downward movement. Right now he's pushed himself in a position where he can shoot 278. He cannot shut out Edwards. Second ball in the 10th.
Fantastic bowling at an exciting setting.
Well, those 2 shots have forced Mike Edwards to strike on the next 2 balls minimum, and if indeed Wiseman strikes here for 278, Edwards would need them all for a victory. 2 and 9 for a tie. Anything less, he would not win.
Talk about applying the pressure with a 278. You've just seen it.
The situation for Mike Edwards, who has not missed striking on this lane, is he must strike on the next 3 balls to win.
Big load.
Edwards must strike on this lane 3 times to win the match.
Still perfect on that right lane, Nelson.
And he has to continue, partner. I said in our little meeting before we went on the air, I believe that we're either going to have a 9 strikes in a row in today's action. We already have 9 by Edwards, although it's 9 after an open frame, and I thought we might have a tie match. The situation to create a tie would be a strike here for Edwards and 9 on the fill ball. The players would tie at 278. However, Edwards must strike on this ball to have any chance of winning the match.
And who said bowling wasn't exciting?
And a physical game, Chris. There's where all the hours and days he's spent in the weight room to get up to be a plus 300-pound bench presser. Under the gun there, he muscles the ball in there, and he's put himself in this position. Strike, he wins. 9's a tie. 8, he loses.
This is like shooting 64 on a major golf course.
Can't afford to miss this putt.
Lost by 1 pin.
Boy, oh boy, would he like to have that shot back. What a victory for Danny Wiseman.
Wow. So Mike has to be consoled by $12,000, but knowing Mike and Mark Williams, look at that gesture, congratulating Mike on a fantastic game.
Here's a shot that Mike just gets a little more speed on it. It hangs, it hangs. It looks like it's going to flip. At least 9 out of this, please. That head pin could have taken out the 8-pin and had a tie. Now watch the head pin. It goes to the left sideboard. More often than not, that head pin will take out both the 4, 7, and 8. Edwards doesn't get the break on the 8-pin to have a tie match. He goes down to defeat 277-278.
Our second game and coming up, Mark Williams will take on Danny Wiseman. This week's Choice Hotels Tip of the Week features Don Johnson with some adjustment advice.
ABC Sports presents a winning never gets old bowling tip. Brought to you by Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep Hotels.
Hey, Don Johnson, what's happening here, bud?
Hey, Bo, I'm just working here with Tom from Toledo. He's got a real bad problem with the ball going over the thumb hole every time.
Is that something that most seniors have as we look at Tom's release here? What's the problem?
Well, a lot of people have this problem, especially seniors, because they don't get any turn in what we call the turn area. Now, what I'm going to do is show Tom how to get this ball off the thumb hole.
Okay.
What we're going to do is we're going to put you a little more on the side at stance, and I want you to keep there until it passes your leg. Then we're going to open up your hand, which is controlled by your forearm. We might think thumb towards the ceiling. And then we're going to come back here and turn it back in the turn area, and then just shake hand with the pins. Again, Amuleto Monticelli's got his hand right there at the top of the swing, so it can't be all bad, can it? Nope. Let's see you try it once, Tom, to see if we get off the thumb hole.
Okay.
Okay, very good. We did not hear that go over the thumb hole, and this is going to give you a lot more strikes, Tom.
Felt good.
Hey, Don Johnson, one of the great instructors. Tom just gave you a great tip, and you'll be winning now, and we all know that winning never gets old.
Look for future ABC Sports winning never gets old bowling tips. Brought to you by Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep Hotels.
Derek Center. Splitfire Sparkplug Open. First match, 268-237. Edwards moved on against Danny Wiseman. And in that match, there were 21 total strikes. 278-277. Slap shot for the young admirer of the Erie Panthers hockey team that plays right here in this arena. Bo, you got 6 through 24.
Well, everybody's having a lot of fun here, Chris, and here's some of the players that had a lot of fun all week. Dave Traver lost his last game by 1 pin to finish 6th. Roger Bowker showing that conditioning does make a difference. Brian LeClaire had 279, 279, 279 at one point this week. Billy Oakes, the tough Texan, in 9th. Joe Furpo, a fine winner. Monticelli saw him running his 5 miles this morning. Ed Richardson, top player. Ernie Schlegel, the veteran. Ross Kawana, the local favorite. He's the relative of a late, great Frank Caruana, who is a Hall of Famer. Powerful Gary Schluchter. Mike Taylor featured a new haircut. The Fireball, Phil Ringer. Mazza will be home next week during the U.S. Open. Detroit, he calls home. Doby's in there. Mike Miller bowled with his thumb and without his thumb this week and qualified 24th. Chris Schenkel.
Okay, our next stop, that's next week for the last major, the United States Open. It'll originate at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan. We expect about 7,000 fans. Then on to a beautiful city of Toronto, the IOF Foresters Open. So here we are in Erie for the 3rd match. Mark Williams, first Texan of the day, moves in against Danny Wiseman. Leaving a 2-pin, seemingly some trouble near the line.
Danny Wiseman's showing some displeasure with the approach. He actually came to an abrupt halt. You know, we checked him earlier when we checked his style in the first game. He has that long slide. Well, that long slide came to an abrupt halt. He released the ball a little bit late and did not get the lift, and the snap back to the head pin leaves the 2.
Now, our first look today at 37-year-old Mark Williams. 6 titles in his 15 years. 32nd telecast. The best this year for Mark. 5th in Baltimore, 2nd in the Choice Hotels Classic.
Well, a different style than we've seen all day long. You see him the extreme left side of the approach. Good, solid push away, a very versatile player. Look at that left side, pulling back, straightening up the right shoulder. Watch how the left arm comes back, the right shoulder comes forward, and that's the way to do it. You have to keep the right hip parallel to the target line. You can open the right shoulder for power.
Look at that. High hit and hits them all. In match play, it was 15-9. 24 match play games. Now the final 4 games move from Eastway Lanes here in Erie to the Civic Center. As we mentioned, Danny finished 3rd last week and appears to be nearing his peak here in 1995 on our 11th stop in a tour of 14 cities. Four victories. And now he leads Mark Williams by 20 pins. Or excuse me, it's all even now. Because Mark had opened with a double and now will be shooting in the 3rd frame. Quite a bit to the left of center on the approach. 3 in a row. Here's Bo.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. Mike Edwards, what a terrific performance. 260, 270, and yet you're defeated after the 2nd game.
Well, you know, this is one time I really don't mind losing. I mean, the fans here are great, and it's just an honor to be bowling here today.
You look a little bit drained.
I am absolutely drained right now. It's unreal. But it's great. You know, I want to say hi to my wife, Meg. I love you, and I almost got there.
All right, Mike. Sweet. Back to you, Chris.
Okay. Early now in our 3rd game, Splitfire Spark Open will return after this.
Introducing the new no-fee Ford Citibank card. With every purchase, you get an amazing 5% rebate that grows toward the purchase or lease of a new Ford or Lincoln Mercury, like an Explorer, a Continental, or even a Mustang. Which means you can save big and really knock down your monthly car payment, all with the superior services of Citibank. Call now 1-800-374-7777 for the new no-fee Ford Citibank card.
Let's try an old sand trap shot here.
Very fast backstroke. Only one satellite TV system offers the most sports, from the most channels to the best coverage. The full
band, Chuck Lute, their director. We appreciate what they're doing, adding to the ambiance of Erie Civic Center. Adding to the beauty of bowling is Danny Wiseman. In a spare is a double up, shooting in the 4th, trailing by 20. Now by only 10.
Chris, despite trailing by 10 pins, Danny Wiseman, I believe, has the correct shot to the pocket with the most margin of error out there on the championship pair. The center of the lane's a little bit slicker, and a little oiler than the outside, and right now, Mark Williams is going around that oil. It's tough to be consistent that way. Williams going right next to it.
And we are even. Semi-final game leading the final as the tournament leader is waiting to bowl, Steve Jaros of Bolingbrook, Illinois. Mm. 4-8.
Just as I suspected, Chris, Mark playing down the center of the lane is in that high oil concentration. He lets the ball slide too far. It doesn't finish enough and leaves the 4-8 a tough spare.
So now Mark is trailing by 2 pins. Wonderful and efficient managing director of Erie Civic Center, Casey Wells. Thanks, Casey.
The 8.
Second 8-pin we've seen today. Look at this pretty shot. Starts the ball left to center, out to about that 5th board we were talking about. In perfect position. 1, 3, 5, straight off the 8.
Danny now with 4 in a row, shooting in the 6th frame, semifinal game.
Little psychological ploy by Danny Wiseman. When he was trailing in a match, he took his time getting up there. When he's leading, he gets up right away. Tries to put quick pressure on his opponent.
Okay, coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, our national champions take the ice in special performances at the Chrysler Skating Spectacular, plus the men's and women's moguls competition at the World Freestyle Skiing Championships. All coming up next here on ABC Sports Wide World. Wow. 11 in his last game. Now he's put together 6. We'll return with more of it following this. 5 to have known the thrill. 5 with the winner today of being a champion here in Erie, PA. Now he, along with you, can watch Mark Williams. 7th frame. That was a must strike. Trailing by 23 here at the center. Tailgating started long before the doors opened here at the Civic Center. And I imagine it'll continue into the early evening. And the crowd tells you how they feel about leaving the 7-pin. And they see a dejected Mark Williams and they start applauding to cheer him up. But that's why a large group of people joining together, like at a football stadium or a baseball park, can help the players. So it's 167 through the 7th for Mark Williams, spare up. And for Danny Wiseman, 6 in a row, open with a spare, now shooting in the 8th. Here's Bo.
Chris Schenkel with me, our tournament leader, Steve Jaros. Steve, you've won 2 tournaments, the Choice Soquel Classic, both low-scoring, very tough environments. Now it's a high-scoring environment. Do you like this kind of action?
I really do. I pulled really well all week. The fans here are fantastic. This is an unbelievable setting. I'm looking forward to having a lot of fun.
How about Danny Wiseman? He's right on.
He sure is. He's bowling great. It's not going to take 2-0 to win.
All right, pal. Here's our tournament leader. He'll be in the next match, Chris. Back to you.
He's just focused. That's what it's called. Had some problems in the past, as we mentioned, when things didn't go right and they were sad. But just look at that. Look at the concentration. And Mark Williams finally gets another strike in the 9th frame. He opened with 4, a couple of spares, a strike, spare, strike. Next Saturday, the Professional Bowlers Tour rolls into Detroit. Joe Louis Arena is the setting of the second jewel in bowling's Triple Crown. Justin Romick will defend his title next week at the U.S. Open. It's 3 Eastern, 2 Central, here on ABC Sports.
Right now, Williams a possible 247. Still in the hunt. What striking out for Williams will do to Danny Wiseman would force Danny to get 6 pins on the first ball. That's if Mark takes it off the sheet. And Chris, this is just no room for spares out here. Mark Williams, 4 good strikes, left a 4-8, just a pinch off in the 5th frame, a solid 8 in the 6th, strike in the 7th, a solid 7 in the 8th, first one we've seen all day. And right now, he's in the point of getting shut out here. He is right now.
This is a man that won the Firestone Tournament of Champions twice.
So be in the 230s, but we said 235's a weak sister out there today. It will not get the job done. Danny Wiseman has a chance for the highest game of the season on ABC television this year. Possible 290. Here we go.
Remember, he had a 278 in his victory over Mike Edwards with 11 strikes.
The all-time record for championship rounds set at Sayville, 1993, 250.1 average. So far, we're going to 265. The record is in jeopardy.
Locked, and will be a finalist, of course, against Jaros, and that'll be a match. Jaros has 2 PBA titles. Danny has 4.
Danny needs this strike to guarantee him the highest game we've had in the championship round in 1995. He didn't want to set the standard too high.
That's right.
We had
2/3 of a bucket anyway, right?
And a boy. He had 278 last game. And this game he'll be at 277 with the spare. Steve Jaros, our tournament leader, is going to have his hands full.
There they are, 2 professionals in the semifinal game. A 277 to Mark Williams' 235. So we continue to march ahead with the final coming up before this huge crowd. And we think the caricaturist did a 68 to 237. He moves ahead into match 2, and then he comes against a real buzzsaw named Danny Wiseman, who with 11 strikes shot a 278 to, well, Mike Edwards 277. Brilliant match to watch. Into match 3 against Mark Williams, Danny Wiseman, 277 to 235, and there is Slapshot, mascot of the hockey team. They're standing now for this final match. Worth $39,000 to the winner, 20 to the runner-up. Go at him, Slapshot. I'm Chris Shank.
Well, Chris, it's been exciting so far, and just something to look forward to in a championship game other than $39,000. The record score for the all-time record is only needed 430. Players only have to average 250 in this final game to break the all-time record set in Sayville last year of 250.1, and they are averaging 262 right now. And you have a special announcement for us, partner.
Well, I think I know it's good news for television watchers, because the PBA and ABC Sports recently signed a 2-year contract. This is an extension guaranteeing the fact that broadcast coverage of the Professional Bowlers Tour will continue through 1997. The first air date will be, oh, you like that? Okay. March 23rd, which kicks off ABC Television's 35th consecutive year of the PBA Tournament Finals. And, Bo, I'm proud to have been part of them, all of them. And you have for 21.
21, a lot of years. And right now we have 2 young men who are anxious to see who's going to win that $39,000, the second Splitfire Championship. Danny Wiseman against Steve Jaros. Big scores. And remember, they only need 430 combined score to break the all-time record in a championship round match. Wiseman needs 261 to break the all-time 3-game record of 815 set by Jim Stefanich.
In reality, all bowlers know that situation, don't they, Nelson? The 10-pin.
Well, the 10-pin knows they're bowling for $39,000. It doesn't want to go down that easily. Wiseman, who is an excellent player, both left-handed and right-handed, almost of equal ability. And Chris, one note on that, left-handed or right-handed on the Pro Bowlers Tour, if you can bowl just as well left-handed as right-handed, or nearly as well, you can bowl with either hand, although in sanctioned bowling leagues, you have to maintain an average with either the right or the left.
29-year-old. tournament leader is greeted by a 10-pin on the right lane. His best this year was 9th in Ray Becker's Peoria tournament.
A beautiful, smooth style of Steve Jaros. He's a grind-out player, very methodical, up here, everything in good position, much like our tournament winner, Jack Jurek, last week. And, Chris, he's not prone to shoot the big numbers. He's a grinder-outer. I think he's really got to change his game plan.
All right.
And what I would do to change that game plan is see what happens the first couple of frames. If you're 10-pin, 4-pin around, as Joe Bush looks on, if you're around the pocket, you have to change and go with a little more speed.
Jill is a promotions supervisor for Splitfire Spark Plugs.
They all had fun last night at the ABC Sports Party.
Group of young people with Splitfire that make things happen. Of course, it helps to have a good product, too. Here he goes. He's had 21 strikes now this afternoon.
The whole championship round among all 5 players have been 80% strikes out of the 69 shots leading in this championship game, Chris. Tremendous action. And obviously, you cannot throw a weak sister, a weak strike ball down there right now. So Danny Wiseman with the real good wrist action. I like the way he opens his hand, closes it, and a wrist up right on behind the ball.
Slick. Yes. Now here is Jaros again. He last won the Choice Hotels Classic in 1993, and 2 years earlier, he won the same event in Edmond, Oklahoma. So they match strikes here in the final game. Bowling for $59,000 plus incentives, Nelson.
And those incentives can add up to over $100,000 in any championship round. So there's a lot of extra money that the fans don't see, but the players are bowling for. But the #1 prize is at $39,000 offered by Splitfire.
Get up, come on. Yeah.
All right, Steve Jaros now leads by 10 by virtue of that strike. Wiseman will be up as we're in Erie, Pennsylvania, where an unfrozen Lake Erie plays host to Mother Nature and today's championship trophy. Get a look at this. What a summertime treat, Erie. Pleasant in the winter as well. Mother Helen and his fiancée is here as well, Wendy Wilson. There she is. But now it's Danny Wiseman. Can even things up with a strike in the 4th. The machine.
Well, he really put the putty to that one, Chris. He got it, opened that hand up a little bit farther and just snapped that wrist dead underneath the ball. And the key for Wiseman, obviously, is to keep his wrist staying under the ball and not over the top. Both players start the championship match spare and 3 strikes in a row.
And taking a 10-pin lead, but now Steve Jaros is up. It's his turn.
Jaros' ball reminds me of one of the great players of all time, Chris, Ned Day. Remember how he had that smooth, methodical style? He set the big hook out there, actually a curve, and he always carried the 10-pin so well.
Leaving the 2, sleeper 8. Next week, Detroit, the Joe Louis Arena.
A man with a low-maintenance swing, shoulder high, inside out. He's playing a pretty good-sized hook, much like Mark Williams was playing. And every once in a while, they get caught in that oil in the center. The result on that shot was the 2-8 spare, and by no means a gimme. good technique.
Okay. All but one round.
18 games of qualifying, 24 match play finals. Steve Jaros averaged over 240 on the last 24 games in rounds 4, 5, and 6, and he's going to have to come up with something along that line, stay in there with Danny Wiseman if he wants any chance here in the championship.
PBA titles, 12 regionals for Steve Jaros. Now another angle. Norm Samet, our director, really bringing you shots today. Total of 24 strikes this afternoon.
Danny likes that result. A little quick with his feet, a little anxious, a little longer swing. I saw his backswing go about 4 inches higher. He got the ball down the line. That's why his shot has more mistake room than the players throwing the big hook out there today, and he ripped the 5 out to take a 22-pin lead through 6. Best shot of the day for Danny Wiseman. Despite all the strikes, that was his best shot.
And of course, this is his 3rd game, and for Steve Jaros, it's his 1st of the afternoon as tournament leader.
A perfect strike. 1, 3, 5, 9, all 10 pins in the pit. That's what Wiseman's been doing all day long.
A double for Jaros, and he's cut the lead to 22. Well, as you look at these AMF temporary lanes, you think of all the work that went into it by construction people and lighting people and our own ABC people.
They're beautiful. And it's the wave of the future. I believe we're going to have probably 50% of these championship rounds in arena settings in the next couple of years. Right now for Steve Jaros, our tournament leader, this is a huge shot. Well, he has that very soft speed, and when he gets it around the pocket, he keeps it in play. But in a high-scoring environment, he's prone to leave those half-tens. We saw him leave a half-10 in the 1st frame, and here again in the 8th frame, the ball kind of quits a little bit at the pocket, and that's okay when you're trying to keep it in play. But here, you need all strikes.
Almost went over the line, sticking there. Okay, got that one over with. But it's getting late.
Danny Wiseman just took the 1st re-rack of the day. Up in the 8th frame, could take a commanding 33-pin lead with just 3 frames left. Has 6 in a row.
Could make a grown man cry.
That is the first major mistake of the championship round today. Danny Wiseman right through the heart. Gives it a whimsical look at the approach. What happened? All of a sudden, the match is on. Wiseman lead, which could have been 33, could go down to just 5 pins right here. All right, partner, here's the setup. Wiseman, a possible 252. Jaros, a possible 247. Wiseman just gets the ball a little wide, cuts right through the heart, doesn't get a break on either the 4-pin or the 6-pin. Obviously, the 7-10 still standing, and the match has become a game with just 2 frames left. Chris, a little chink in the armor out there, pal.
Frustrated at this point.
Well, he goes through the nose in the right-hand lane, and then you can see the ball wider than any shot we've seen today from Danny Wiseman. He breaks down the 2-8, leaves the 2-pin, but back-to-back frames with marginal shots right as the match is ending. He has opened the door for Steve Jaros.
Remember, Mike Edwards said he was drained after 2 games. Now, Danny, this is his 3rd of the afternoon. So with the pressure, you do wear out, don't you?
Oh, very good point, Chris. Surprisingly, he had those 2 opens, and he's put Jaros in a position, our tournament leader, that with 3 strikes and 6 pins, he will win the championship. Well, spares have become a key factor. It was all strikes all week long, and now Jaros, who is in the oil, a little heavy. See that ball between the 2nd and 3rd arrows? You keep it in the oil too long, it sails down there, and we know as you bowl longer and longer, sometimes the oil carries towards the back end. You don't get the break you want, and now both players are frustrated by light hits in the 9th frame.
Wincing along with all of us was John Evans of our affiliate WJET TV channel 24.
Woo. Chris, how many weeks, and this is, I believe, 4 weeks in a row, we've seen the championship match decided by a missed spare. Here, Jaros in a key 9th frame has chopped the 2 off the 5. Danny Wiseman can take the tournament just with a simple mark in the 10th.
And how often do you professional teachers say, practice your spares, right?
Oh, that's for sure. Right now for Jaros, he can finish with 224. He would force Wiseman to mark. And let's face it, the last 2 frames rolled by Danny Wiseman weren't the best he's throwing all day long, so the match is up for grabs. Jaros needs this strike to force a mark out of Wiseman.
So he'll be in the 220s high.
Title at stake, secondary story. They have broken the all-time championship round record today. It's just by how many pins.
Finishing strong. 29-year-old from Bolingbrook, Illinois, seeking his 3rd PBA title.
Danny Wiseman, who has been shaky in the 8th and 9th after near perfection all week long, needs a mark, a strike or a spare, to win his 5th career championship and $39,000 from Splitfire. Right now, the all-time scoring record for 5 players has been broken. Danny Wiseman will not eclipse Jim Stefanich's all-time record of 815, but he needs this spare to win the tournament. Now just 4 pins, 4 pins.
Believe me, this man has fought hard to come back from a lot of disappointments.
Must stay behind the foul line. In this setting, Chris, you can get over anxious and run past the foul line down the side of the lane. So he has to be very disciplined, stay on the approach behind the foul line. That's a lot.
Prior to last week, Danny's last telecast was April of 1992. And look what he has accomplished. Pat on the back to the champion of the Splitfire Spark Plug Open in Erie. All right, we'll be back to talk to the winner, the presentation, but first, this pause and some messages of note. Okay, we're back again at Erie Civic Center before this wonderful crowd. Thank you. And you see that Danny Wiseman has done a beautiful job fighting back to win the $39,000 in the Splitfire Spark Plug Open. Danny, I just told our television audience that other than last week, you had not been out here since '92. And I know how hard you fought back. A 3rd last week, a victory today.
Oh boy, I don't know what to say. Yeah, I've been out here and I've been struggling so hard. And my physical game went, and I worked very hard to get it back to where it used to be in the early 90s. And, you know, I've been really working hard, and I don't know. This is just too much.
We'll give you a chance to collect your thoughts. Jerry Riccione, Splitfire Spark Plug, our wonderful host for this championship. I think he has a check.
I do have
They have money in all their pockets, believe me. Jerry, you take over and make the presentation.
Well, on behalf of Splitfire, it's my pleasure to congratulate you on your victory here. And we have two options for you. We have a check for $39,000 or a set of Splitfire spark plugs free. So it's your choice. There you go. There you go. There you go. Congratulations. You did a great job. Good job.
Boy, I'll tell you, I just, you know, I'd like to thank Splitfire Spark Plugs for sponsoring us. It's wonderful. George and Nancy, what a show. This crowd in Erie, this was the best. This is unbelievable. Yes.
Okay, Nancy and George Warren are the tournament chairpersons. Nancy, of course, there. And here's George.
Well, on behalf of Erie, PA and Splitfire Spark Plug, Danny, I'd like to present you with this beautiful Splitfire Spark Plug trophy.
Yeah, baby, this is it. This is it. Yes, thank you.
Directed by Norman Samet. Technical Director, Michael Carmen. Associate Director, Vince Daddario. Production Manager, Lynn Catton. Technical Manager, Mike Farrell. Stage Coordinator, Tom Gatewood. Assistant to the Producer, Steve Shunk.